Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. Hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith everybody's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. I am excited again, and you know why. Why don't you tell me why? Because I love talking to people. I love having these high vibrational conversations, learning, and just engaging in thought currents and just learning about people around the world. And today is no different. I have Dawn Bates, who she's going to tell you about her. But before she does, let me tell you a bit about her. And this is the condensed version because there's so much about this amazing woman who's traveling the world as we speak. So Dawn Bates is a true international best-selling author multiple times over on 5 continents. Wow. She specializes in developing true authorities who wish to give a voice to the voiceless whilst working with them to create brand expansion strategies through activism, authorship, and business. With social justice and human rights underpinning everything she does, including her study with the University of Oxford, where she is studying for her PhD in international law and social justice. You can guarantee her books are powerful. Dawn brings together the multi-faceted aspects of the world we live in and takes you on a roller coaster ride of emotions whilst delivering mic-dropping inspiration, motivation, and awakening. Her work captures life around the world in all its rawness. Wow, amazing. And just by talk, how are you today, Dawn? I was about to start talking, but how are you? Because I'm already excited because we had this pre-conversation, but
we did.
Yes. So yes, you're doing great.
Yeah, it's like I was writing earlier, like doing my manifestation for November. And I was like, how I feel. And I was like, I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm focused, determined, supported, grounded, emotional, excited, sexy, inspired, proud of myself, trusted. I'm a great mother. And I'm just like, dun, 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 like, let's do it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all of that.
That's amazing. And prior to this segment, we were just getting into, before we do that, let's touch on some of the formalities that I see here in your bio, and then we'll get into this.
Okay.
This mesmerizing experience that you are yourself and unfolding. So you're an international best-selling author multiple times over on 5 continents. Can you elaborate on that now? How did you?
No idea.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Well, I still pinch myself. Like, honestly, Luke, when I finish a book, I'm like, oh my God, I just wrote a book. I just wrote a book. And then I get really excited. And I remember when I was sailing, when I was about to set sail down the Amazon River. I didn't set sail, we were motoring, but still.
Right.
And I'd just written Alpha, my latest book that I published back in August. I stood on the back of the boat and the sun was going down. I went, I just wrote a book. I just wrote a fucking book.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, 16 books in. And I'm like, I just wrote a book.
You have 16 books published?
Yeah.
Wow. I am so honored to be speaking with you because you know what? And I forgot to say something. And I never forget to say this, and I'm going to say it. I am a firm believer that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to choose to spend some of your time here with me, I am so honored and just grateful. I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude.
You're very welcome. And like we connected, like, what was it, 4 years ago, 3
right
4 years
I remember
ago?
Yes.
And like we've just, obviously I'm not on social media anymore, but like we saw each other's posts, but this is like the first real conversation we've had, and it's just like, what were we doing? I know timing, everything happens when it's supposed to, but it's just like, I'm honored that you invited me to come on your show. I'm just like, yeah, cool, I'll do that. I'll hang
Right.
out with you for a bit
And
of
and then
time. Yeah.
especially knowing, I mean, what you're doing right now, that I'm able to just take a peek in on your life as it unfolds. Your
Yeah,
great
'cause
travels
it's
right now. You're where right now?
I'm on the Caribbean coast in Colombia.
Colombia. I mean, and then my question was, and then we'll get back into this, but my question was, everybody, oh, you live there in Colombia? And your answer was,
no, I don't live anywhere. I live everywhere.
everywhere. And that right there,
So I'm a nomad.
I mean, if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will. Wow. And then you start talking about, we're gonna get into that, these rough sea sailing adventures. I mean, almost like a page out of Moby Dick or something like that, or watching Deadliest Catch on television. I can just imagine when you were explaining that to me. I mean, I love watching those fishing shows and how they go through those storms. Yes, and you reminded me of that. And wow, so 16 books
I'm
in.
the person on the boat that's going, don't catch fish, don't catch fish, don't catch fish.
Wow, 16 books in over 5 continents. Wow. And
yeah, that's what I say. Like, wow.
That's amazing. And you're also really avid and involved in social justice and human rights.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes, I just want to just activism, authorship, business. I mean, what gave you this mindset? Have you always had this such a vivid mindset? Yes, in this nomadic way about you. Have you always been that way, or was there some turning point in your life that brought this out? What happened?
On, Lee. You know there's always a turning point. You know there's always that curveball that just sits you on your ass and goes, what the?
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I remember sitting on, I mean, my dad was a beach fisherman. We used to go to the beach every weekend. I grew up in the East Anglia region near Sandringham. Well, it's about half an hour from Sandringham. And so we always used to go to the beach, like whether it was Weybourne or wherever. And I remember sitting on the beach one night saying to my mum, I'm going to go live out there. I was 8 years old, right? And she was like, yep. My mum at that point, it was just like, she'd already got used to the point that whenever I said I was going to do something, I was just going to go do it. And then, you know, I started raving and all of that. And like I met my ex-husband, and he was a city boy from Cairo, even though he was more English than he was Arab. And I mean, he'd lived in the UK more than he'd lived anywhere. And like they were like world travelers. His dad was a doctor. His mum had got hotels and stuff, so like they did a lot of traveling. And we met in the middle of a rave on a Saturday night. But again, I was following my intuition. I knew I had to be at that rave. I had no idea why. And I went there, and I just finished dancing to my friend Lofgruber, also known as Tony. And I was dripping wet. I looked like I just got out of the shower. Honestly, my hair was just wet. I mean, I love dancing to techno. I mean, I'm probably not as quick at it now. Put some jungle on and I might be a bit better at it these days. But yeah, and we met, and then we, like, you know, it was just 18 years later, we got divorced, but we'd had 2 children on the way. And again, I always knew I was going to have 2 children, two boys, 4 years apart. That's exactly what happened. But I never got to live at sea. But one of the things that I hated, and I really have a strong dislike for, is bullies. I was bullied at school. I know a lot of people that are bullied at school. And I think that's where the justice thing came in. I was like, I am not going to be bullied. I'm not going to allow anybody else to be bullied. And if I can actually do something about the bullies, then I'm going to do what I can. Now, whether that is the bullies in the classroom or the bullies in the workplace or the bullies in the government on a large global scale, or the bullies in big pharma, or whatever we're seeing at the moment, you know, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to stand by and let somebody get bullied. And so all of my books have this theme of, you know, because the thing for me is like social justice and human rights. People talk about them, but they don't understand them. If I asked somebody what the Human Rights Declaration said to them, nobody would really know. Most people wouldn't know. Most people don't even know what freedom is. You've got people, I mean, I could get really quite political on this, but You know, you've got all these people that are saying, I believe in freedom, I want my freedom back, but then they're lining up wanting to have this injection that's leading us to a totalitarian government. And they're
Right.
like, what the hell? Are you people for real?
Right.
You have no idea what freedom is. You're
Yes.
eating all this junk food and your body is encased in this prison because you're eating processed food.
Food.
There's not even food. They call it food, but it's not food.
Right.
And if you can't read it or spell it in your own language, then don't eat it. It
The
really
ingredients in it. I totally get it. I totally get it.
So that's kind of like, I've always been an activist. I mean, even 4 days after giving birth to my first child, I was me, my ex-husband, and my first son Khalid. We were out on an anti-war march, and you know, I remember when I lived in Egypt, I was in Tahrir Square. Because we lived out there during the uprising, which is what my second book is about. My first book is all about social stereotypes, raving religion, and racism, and so it's talking about the bullies and the ignorance in that area. But the thing is like, I make human rights and social justice accessible. So when you read my books, you actually hear me speaking, people are like, oh my God, I could just so see you waving your arms around, getting off on one, but then having a giggle and being really sarcastic and then having a giggle with us. It was like I was just sat there chatting with a friend. I could hear your voice in my head. Because for me, it's like, if we make social justice and human rights and all of these high level subjects more accessible to people, the more empowered the people are, the less control other people will have over us. And remember, we only control things we're afraid of. So this is why the government want to control us all, because they know that there's power in numbers. Look at what we did in Tahrir Square. We overthrew a dictatorship that was there for 30 years. Okay, it now then pans out that it was all a game, you know, and the puppeteer, Morsi. I mean, Morsi was probably one of the best things that happened to Egypt when we lived out there. And then Sisi, the moment Sisi went into power, I said, we're done, we're leaving, we're going. Because I mean, he was just Mubarak Mark II on steroids. He's a very dangerous man. But he's also a puppet of the US and the British government.
Right.
And when he came to the UK, I actually said to a group of people when he met with David Cameron, I went, I give us 2 years before we leave Europe. But I'd also said before I went to Egypt, I guarantee you that in about a decade, UK is going to leave Europe, and there's going to be something else that they invent to divide and conquer us all, because we're getting wise to the racism, we're getting wise to the religious hatred, and they've got to come up with something. Yeah, they've got to come up with something that's complicated for these people that have been educated in schools that have only educated us to a certain level or indoctrinated us into academia, so that we don't ask questions, so that we've been fed a narrative, and you know, and then we comply. And it's just like, well, no, I'm not going to comply. I did not sign a contract when I dropped out of my mother's uterus to obey your rules. I don't agree with your rules. And if I don't agree with the rules of a board game, I'm not going to play the board game. I'm not going to put my chess pieces on the board. And I'm not going to play their game. I really am not. And, you know, this is partly why I'm a nomad and I live out of the system and I don't pay tax, and I don't, you know, I don't stay anywhere for more than really 7 to 10 days, and I'm on the move again.
You know what I connect with that?
Would you like to attack? Which bit would you like to tackle on that bit?
No, I'm just listening to you. No, I love it. I want you to express everything. That's why I have you here. And I'm grateful for you being here. But along those lines of, you say, that's why I'm a nomad. That's why I've always felt that, even though I haven't stepped out and did that, but just listen to me. Just listen to me.
No, I'm with you.
I always connect with, somewhere along the lines, I might have been a pirate.
Oh yeah, you're definitely a pirate.
Yes, and look at my name.
I'm looking at you, and I'm like, you've been here many times.
Yeah, and look at the name that I use, loot. What do pirates do?
Oh, we loot.
And what the significance in my name too, it was given to me by it's a story when I was younger. kids start calling me Loot because I was always busy and working and making up my own little job. So they start affiliating that name with like money. He's making money, so they start calling me Loot. But the way I embrace it now is I take the knowledge from those that are trying to hide it, you know, so steal it from them and give it to other people to wake them up.
Robin Hood.
So that's why I keep that name Loot, because I had a guy one time tell me, "Oh, you're this conscious guy, huh? So why do you have that? Why are you go by Loot? That's pillaging and this and that." And then I explained to him,
it's also a musical instrument, so you know, you could say
right,
that you're a vibrational creature,
right? So, but I explained it to him. I said, yes, I do feel like I take, but this is how I do it, and then this is why I feel like the information that have been withheld, and I believe that I'm here to help enlighten people, and also connect with those that can enlighten me, so that I can continue to enlighten people. You know, that's why I love listening, and I respect everyone's perspectives. And I love talking to people, you know, that are off the grid or whatever, that just can give me insight. I had an interview with I'm not comparing her to you, but she gave up everything and just bought a trailer and didn't know any answers or what was going to happen. Just got that calling.
My 2 children are back home in the UK with their dad.
Yeah, got that calling.
And I abandoned them, apparently. Wow. I was like, yeah, and if I had a penis, no one would say that. No,
you're a pirate as well. Yeah, so that's great. And that's why I connect with, like, I love watching the movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. I say I can totally see myself on one of those ships, you know.
I sailed across the Atlantic on one of those.
Wow.
Went up the top of the mid-mast, and we were right at the top, because my youngest son, he goes, "I dare you to go to the top in the middle of the ocean." I mean, it was just like, we love to dare each other, me and my boys. And I was like, oh, I've got to do it. He dared me. No, like, when someone dares you to do something, it's kind of like, and they're good people. You know, you're kind of like, do I accept this dare, or do I double dare them and then risk a triple dare?
Right.
That's not fun. So I was like, you know what? I'm going up that mast. And I went up the top of the mast, 55-meter tall ship, 3-masted bark tall ship. It was just beautiful.
And you know what else is so intriguing about you? And that's why, as I'm growing and as I expanding, one of the things I no longer do that I used to do is create titles for people and put people in a box. And you are a prime example and testimony as why not to do that. Because here
I burned the boxes, Luke.
No, listen to me. Here is a woman, a person, okay, no matter man or woman, but a person that
I'm a woman, don't worry, I am choose.
Yes, a woman, beautiful woman, I might add, that
thank you very much,
chooses to be a nomad, and yet you have still the intelligence, the structure, the focus to write several books. And that is amazing. I'm not saying that being a nomad, you can't write a book or anything like that, but I'm even talk about myself. If I'm this wild pirate, the last thing I think I'm going to do is settle down enough to put a book together. So I commend you.
Books only don't take me very long to write. My last 4 books that I wrote in the Sacral series, because there are 9 books in the Sacral series, each of the books, Moana, Layla, Pandora, and Alpha, they only took me a week to write. And they're about 40,000 words.
You know why? Because you have so much.
I've got so much going on in my head.
You got so much going on. And I connect with people like that too. So I have a lot going on in my head too. And I play many parts, and I have many hats, and I have, so
if we were born in the 80s or the 90s, right, like late 80s or like 90s, we'd be off our faces on Ritalin right now. But because we were born in the late 70s or in the 70s, I'm guessing you're roughly the same age as me. I don't want to be adding.
No, I was born in the 70s.
Yeah, good man. All these people born in the 80s and 90s. What I mean, what's that
I
about?
think I was born before you. You said late 70s.
Yeah, 77. Of course, 77. Do you know my divine
This is
number
when I was
is
born.
33?
71.
Okay, so we're the same generation. We're the chemical generation. It's all good, right? But we'd be off our face on Ritalin. But because we were born in the 70s, we're inspiring entrepreneurs who have got a lot going on, right? We were the last decade of people that escaped the ADHD label.
Right.
Exactly. Because they realized they needed to control us in the classroom. Now, this is coming from a woman who's also been a school governor and a school teacher. And the only reason why I became a school governor in the UK was because I wanted to know what was going on the inside and what was coming down from central government, feeding through to local government, to the teachers, to our children. Because I'm like, I am not having this. And
let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there because
social justice.
I'm going to comment. I'm going to tell you something of how I'm. Let me put this thought together. Okay.
Put it out.
I've told young people, especially young, I'll say men of color, that have problems, with the police and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And no, this is where I'm going with this. I've said, become a police officer. Mm-hmm. No, I'll do that. So you can change things and see what's going on from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying. I just had to say that because I've said that several times.
It's interesting you say that because the 8th book in the Sacral series is about a Black police officer who is that politically correct these days to say Black? I'm not quite sure.
Yes. I don't have any attachment or hang-ups with any title. Yeah. I really don't. I don't.
But the thing for me is like, when this guy shared his story with me, one of the reasons why he went into the police force was because his sister was raped and the police did nothing because she was a Black whore.
Right.
So he was like, right, I want to know what's happening. Evidence went missing. They knew who had done it and the police did nothing.
Right.
And so he became a police officer because he wanted to know what was going on. He wanted to change things from the inside out. And he looked at the evidence. And this is the thing, all of these stories that have been shared with me, because the Sacral series are 9 true stories, but I've changed the identity or the ethnicity or the religion or the location to protect the identities of the people or their families, because a few of them are not alive anymore. But again, it's like when you look at, my sons, like I said, are Arabs. As a mother, I'm white, as you can see, and to give birth to 2 boys. Honestly, if you put my sons and my ex-husband together, there's me, there's my youngest son, there's my eldest son, and then there's their dad in a color spectrum. And I remember that we were at the nursery when Nasa was younger. He must have been about 2 or 3 years old. And there was this really sweet little boy. He goes, "Why are you all white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and very dark chocolate?" Like this, right? And his mum cringed. And Nasa was like, "I'm milk chocolate." And I'm like, "I'm white chocolate." And we were like having fun with it, because the thing is, and this is one of the things that I was saying on another podcast the other week, we've got so much sensitivity these days.
Right.
And people are so easily offended. People are more offended by people swearing than they are by human rights violations and sexual and abuse that's going on. And it's like there's this, you've got the letters community, as I call them, because I can't keep up with the amount of letters that are being added to this group of people. And I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm sorry if I offend you, but I want to know. I want to understand.
Right. That's what I do. Ask questions.
I'm not asking because I want to insult you or I want to be insensitive, but I don't understand why you're transitioning to transitioning to transitioning to transitioning.
Right.
You're transitioning regardless of which stage you're at on that transition. Right. And if you're saying I can't get a job because I'm transitioning or I'm transgender, maybe consider that some of your counterparts are actually making it very difficult for you to actually get a job because they're so oversensitive. Employers are afraid to employ you because they don't want to upset you. They don't want to get it wrong. They don't want to face legal action. Just to take an employer to court, just back 20 years ago was a minimum of 15 grand investment for a firm. They don't want to risk it.
Right.
But the thing is, it's like, and the reason why I've seen this happening over and over and over and over again. And this is some of the things I touch on in my first 4 books, predominantly my first 2 books, Friday Bridge and Wallahi. And it was the same when I used to do consulting for companies that would hire Muslims, because I did a lot of work within the Islamic community. I understand the Quran very well. I lived my life as a Muslim for a very long time, and then I walked away from Islam, but I still hold Islam, like a lot of the teachings and the essence of it, very dear inside of me.
Right.
But for me, it was like, I got to that point where it's like, I no longer want to be identified as a religion, because that's saying I am right and everybody else is wrong.
It's wrong.
No, we are all beings. We are all such beautiful beings, and all of the teachings, whether they're Taoism, Buddhism, or the Abrahamic faiths, or Hinduism, they all have so much beauty in them. And fundamentally, they're all the same. It's just man-made control, right?
Right.
Which is what the book Faith is about in the 5th book in the Sacral series. And it talks about religious abuse. But the thing is, when I used to go into these companies, or like people would phone me up and like they'd have me on a retainer, like, Dawn, I've got this, I've just hired, and like, what do I do? They're saying that they need to have this time and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, that's not actually Islamic, that's actually a cultural thing. So if they're trying to claim Islamophobia, they've got it wrong. But again, it's part of my cultural diversity consulting that I do. And when I go and I speak in a lot of these organizations, I've worked with the Asylum Seekers Council, I've worked for the Refugee Council, and even to the point where we have to change our ringtones, because some of the people that have actually come to whichever country, even a ringtone will set off a trauma response, because the guerrillas or the rapists or the murderers that raided their homes and everything, they will have had that ringtone. And if you've got that same ringtone as the person who's just come in and blown your whole family to pieces and then raped your mother in front of you, that's going to cause a massive trigger response. But for me, another thing that I also like to say to a lot of people is, and especially in Britain, and I think in parts of America as well, playing it safe here, but when people say, oh, well, they're coming to our country, they should actually adapt to our way of life. And I was like, okay, the metric system has been in operation since the 1950s. You're still using imperial, but you're expecting, after 70 years of just still using imperial, even though we're on a metric system, you're expecting someone who's only been in the country for maybe a year, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, to change their whole way of being, their whole way of thinking, their culture, the generational cultures, the generational beliefs. You're expecting that to change overnight.
Right.
And you're still using the imperial system after it's been implemented for 70 years. Pot calling kettle, I think you need to check yourself before you start checking other people. And this is the thing, it's like, when we see other people from their point of view, and when we step out of our own ego and our own righteousness, and we actually remove so much, of the problems. And this is the thing, like, I want to understand why people are now reducing themselves to a pronoun. You're a person, you're not a grammatical term.
Right.
You're a person, you're a beautiful being. Let us help you, or let us understand you, let us support you. Stop being so offended by everything.
Right.
And as a mother of, going back to like my children and the color issue, my eldest son looks like an Arab. My youngest son, you can't really tell where he's from, but again, where is he from? You look at my son, you know he's an Arab. But people go, oh, he's a Pakistani. It's like, no, he's not. He's an Arab. Oh, go back to where you came from. Well, okay, which country? Because his grandmother is Egyptian. His grandfather is Palestinian. His great grandfather is Scottish, and my mother is English. So which country is he going to go back to? He was born in England.
Right.
We're all so multicultural, and all of this DNA testing that people have had. Yes. You check. Like, we're all from everywhere. No one is pure anything anymore. And
people, when they find that out, oftentimes, if they find out certain ethnicities inside themselves, they'll hide that. But
yeah, they
I
will.
want to,
Oh, they don't like that at all.
I want to
But I'm
elaborate.
worried about my eldest son with
Yeah,
everything going on, with him
yeah.
being an Arab in England, because England don't accept people, they tolerate people.
Oh, of course.
Tolerate.
That's,
Oh, no,
yeah.
oh, we're very tolerant. I'm
That's a
like,
whole
yeah,
nother.
but you're not very accepting, are
Yeah,
you?
England's not the only place. But what I'll
No.
say this too, I wanted to kind of elaborate on what you were saying about the sensitivity of people and give you a personal story about myself. I was at work and there was something, I guess, derogatory written in the bathroom of my job that had to do supposedly me, or not me personally, but my kind. So there was people there, you know, colleagues, co-workers of mine, very upset, yet I was not.
You probably
And
laughed at it.
I was laughing. So no, yeah. And I was, so they actually kind of started looking at me and kind of giving, you know, me like, what is wrong with you? Are you crazy? And I said, yeah. And
yeah.
yeah, crazy and compared to what? Albert Einstein, what? Beethoven? Yeah, they were all crazy.
Yeah, Mozart. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
Mozart, they were crazy.
Darling.
Right? Yeah. Prince too. The artist
Yeah,
formerly
yeah.
known as crazy,
Ah,
right? Right? Crazy.
absolutely.
But genius at the same time. But
Absolutely.
crazy is just a label that somebody who.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we can get into that too. People put the crazy label on things they don't understand.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is, so they were asking me, okay, I got asked this a few times, like, why aren't you upset? I said, well, because I said there's a lot of reasons why. Number one is, why am I accepting that like that's talking to me?
Yeah.
I said, things only have the power that you give them. And I said, so
yeah.
People can write whatever they want. I don't have to accept or have any type of give that any kind of energy at all. You know, so it just doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I'm not allowing it to. It doesn't mean anything to me. Now I said, and the person that probably wrote it doesn't mean anything to me. So why would I allow them to have power over me? I said, why?
That's freedom though. You're free from that.
Yeah. And one guy, I remember, he looked at me and he goes, Lou, you know what? I never thought of it that way. You were right. I said, yeah. I said, whoever wrote that is going to get more of a kick that he's getting a reaction from you than anything. I said, I don't care what you write. So what? You know, that's just me. I'm not, and there's some people that agreed and a lot didn't. No, it shouldn't be done. Okay, yeah, it shouldn't be done, but it was done. So you're going to allow that to.
You're spending more energy discussing it and debating it than removing it.
Right. And it's done, and it's actually accomplishing its purpose, which is to push you off balance, right? And that's exactly what it did. And
this is one of the other reasons why I've come off social media.
Right.
Because a lot of the books that I write, they trigger a lot of people. I mean, I quite, and it's good that it triggers people because it's waking them up. I mean, people call me a molecule shaker. I've been called it for ages because, I mean, you've got people that call themselves truth slayers, but I don't even have to say anything. I just have to show up as me and I trigger the hell out of people. And it's not intentional. It's just that I'm curious, and I know I'm a powerful woman. And I also know that the fact that I chose to say to my boys, I can't do this anymore. I need to go. I need to go heal myself. Right. Because my third book, that is all about how I got arrested and thrown in a police cell for 3 days without questioning, without being told why, had my kids taken off me. And then they wanted to add me to a list of people who were dangerous to young children and vulnerable adults. What they didn't know was I was a police assessor and I'd been studying the law. And I was like, you're not allowed to do this. My son was, I mean, I left my child, my two boys, alone in the car for 5-10 minutes while I went and checked the opening times and the cost of a family ticket. My eldest was legally old enough for me to pay him to look after my youngest son.
Right.
Okay. My dog was in the car, blacked out windows on like, I mean, like, I don't know what you call them in the States. I think you call them, we call them SUV, not SUVs, they're like a van. If you take all the back seat, they've got 7 seats in them. If you take all the seats out the back, like you've got a van, right?
Right.
We were on a road trip, and like we'd been camping. We had been like, we'd got the fire pit in the car. We had got like, and I got arrested. And we were in the smallest of smallest places on the west coast of Scotland. Right. And so they've started to do all these charges against me. And I'm like, no, hang on a second. You're not allowed to do any of this. You're actually breaking the law yourself. And this is the thing. When people are shown the police officers, like if he'd have just listened and said, you know, I'm like, well, but he didn't. He saw a woman alone with her kids, whatever was going on for him.
Right.
You know, he was a father. He'd got 3 kids. Maybe he was just really, really upset. Maybe he was paranoid or just really worried. Like all that Maddie McCann stuff happened. You know, they left their daughters, or their 3 kids alone for 2 to 3 hours every single night, and it was premeditated that they would leave their kids alone for every night.
Right.
While they went for dinner. And they've made at least $1 million. They've made 11 million from her disappearance in 11 years, and they've never had anything done to them. I leave my boys alone for 10 minutes maximum, because the next time I went up to Scotland, I actually timed it like for me to walk there, and I actually walked a lot slower because I didn't have kids waiting for me. But the thing is, it's like all of these laws and all of these rules that people come up with, and all of these things that people are offended by, right? They have to remember that these laws and these beliefs don't belong to us. They are conditioned. And all of these haters on social media and on the internet, I mean, I've just gone through, I mean, my team and I have just had to delete so many messages from people that have gone through, like, they're triggered by my lifestyle because they think that, you know, because obviously an international best-selling author who sails around the world has got such a luxury millionaire's lifestyle that, you know, but they have no idea what my lifestyle is like. You know, what they don't understand is it costs on average about 10 grand to reinvest in a book minimum. Right. And that's if you know what you're doing. Right. But then when you've got a team of about 11 people that you're paying out, all the money that's coming in is going out again. I mean, I love paying invoices. Absolutely love it. I get so excited because I'm like, yes, I'm impacting another family. Yes, I'm serving other people. And it's an honor to pay an invoice, an absolute honor to pay an invoice. I love it, you know. But these people that are out there hating and judging and condemning and saying you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be believing this, you should be offended, you shouldn't be offended. I haven't got time for it, which is another reason why I've come off social media. Not just because of the human rights violations.
Let me stop you right there, what you just said right there. And this is not a coincidence. This is what I posted today. And it kind of resonates with what you're saying right now. And I just put this up today, 5 hours ago. Okay. So it's here. And it says, think for yourself. Trust your own intuition. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then up here, I wrote something. I said, I connect with my own soul and all that resonates with it. So I'm not allowing other narratives. And then also too, this is for you too. And I just posted this today. Is it backwards?
No, it's on track, and I quite like it. I actually do like it. But this is the other thing. I've been judged by the professionals in the courtroom, and I still beat them.
Yep.
You know, and this is the thing. When you look at social media, people who are scrolling through social media.
There's another one I put up today or yesterday.
Okay, I'm going to share something with you now, right?
Right.
Small to medium businesses, on average, spend 80% of their time thinking about creating and posting and commenting on social media for
Right.
20% of their income.
Wow. No.
Right? That's not a very healthy balance, right?
No.
But when you consider that if you build your email list,
Right.
47% of the people that subscribe to your email list are interested in buying from you and are more likely to buy from you. And all you have to do is send a minimum of 1 email a week to an engaged audience. And yes, people can say that, oh, people don't read emails anymore. Well, if people are not reading emails anymore, that's because they've subscribed to everything because they've got a fear of missing out. But the true subscribers are going to buy from you at some point on your journey, whether it is a $10, $20 PDF explanation guide or training video, or whether it's your books, whether it's your training, whatever it is, that's going on. But the thing is, it's like one of the other things, like reasons I came off social media is because I would post a really powerful post. I mean, you've read a few of mine. You know that it's like no. Well, those of you who are listening, the way I write is the way I speak, and like I hold no prisoners. And all I would get was, "Oh, you're really beautiful. Oh, you're really pretty. Oh, where are you now? Oh, that beach is gorgeous."
Oh, that's
yeah, that's base level. That's not even like
they don't even they don't get it.
If
but
you're still looking at how beautiful I am and how gorgeous my hair
with your what I like to say, unbridled energy. And that to me right there spoke volumes to me. Like, wait a minute, I don't know how, but we're going to connect on to get some kind of collaboration of something, and it wasn't, oh, you're pretty, let me talk to you. No, nothing like that.
No. But it was even coming from the women. And for me, it's like, do you actually know who I am?
Right.
If you are only commenting on how pretty I am or on the picture, and I'm just like, really? Seriously? Do you think I'm bothered about that? Do you really? Because for me, it's like, whether I'm pretty or not, or whether I'm beautiful or not, or whether I'm ugly or not, or whether I'm overweight or not, or whether I'm too thin, or I'm too tall, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter, because it's what's behind that. It's what's inside. And it was showing me the level of, and I would like, I started to respond to people. So what did you think to the post then?
Right.
Oh, sorry, I didn't read it. And what was the point of commenting then?
Right.
And I was getting to the point where I was getting so like that fire, that mama fire, the Sagittarian fire, the feminine fire. You have to let
people stay at the level that they are. That's what it is.
I was done with it. I was done with it, Lou. I was like, why am I on a platform that people are scrolling? And for me, like, people aren't going to come to me if they're scrolling. Right. I mean, yes, I created a 6-figure business from some of the clients that I got from social media. So to come off social media, it's like, okay, this could be a big gamble. But you know what? I trust myself. I trust my instincts. I trust my intuition. And after
whatever way you go, and you already know this, whatever way you choose, whether you choose to close with the way you feel in your spirit, something's going to open up over here then.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter.
Since I deleted, I've been invited onto so many podcasts.
Right.
So many interviews,
including this one.
Like, and it's just like, it's gone crazy.
Right.
And this is the thing. It's like, when we trust our intuition, when we trust ourselves and we know we've got it. But the thing is, businesses have been making millions for hundreds of years. Back in 1872, when the architects built the White City of Chicago for the White Fair, right? Architects were already charging $1,000 back in 1872. C.J. Walker was a multimillionaire and lived next to Rockefeller, and she didn't have social media. She was a woman in a very man's world, and she was a black woman in a white man's world.
Madam C.J. Walker, yeah.
Absolutely. What a like, and this is the thing, it's like, when you look at women throughout history, and this is what we were talking about before, like, I tell women, you've got to own your ovaries.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they say to men, grow a pair. I've already got a
Yeah.
pair. They're called
Right.
ovaries, and they are
Right.
inside me. And if
Right.
if I can receive from a man his beautiful donation to create life, and we can create that kind of magic, and I can grow a human being inside of my body, and then give birth to it, and then keep that child alive for up to 2-3 years, and it depends on which part of the world. It might be a little bit longer. But if I can do that as a woman, is there any wonder that patriarchy has been alive for so long? They're bloody afraid of us. Like this woman, like, I mean, might be a bit crude for some of your listeners, but you tell me how many other mammals you know. Well, quite a few mammals, but how many of the living species can bleed for a week and live every single month?
Right. Right. No,
And
that's
some of
not
us,
true.
we bleed quite heavily, right?
Yes.
But the
Yes.
thing
Exactly.
is, it's like the medical industry and big pharma is like, it's not been designed for women. Even some of the yoga moves that women struggle with are not designed for women's bodies.
Right.
You know, and this is the thing, we have so much power as women, and yet when it comes to investing in ourselves and creating an abundant lifestyle, we run from it.
Right.
Because we're
That's what
so
we were talking about prior to the
indoctrinated.
segment. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're
Yeah.
so
Right.
indoctrinated to believe we don't deserve, that
Right.
we can't be abundant, that we shouldn't be abundant, that it's wrong to talk about money. But you know what, the conversations I'm having about crypto, and you know, the conversations I have about money, I don't care what people think of me. I love money. Money is a
Right.
beautiful energy. And
Right.
like I said, I get
Exactly.
excited when I have to pay an invoice.
Right.
I'm contributing.
I just, again, and this is
You're
not
going to
just,
pull up another one. Like, look at you on
no. This is
your
not
book of
just.
face.
It's just telling you how in alignment we are, because one of the things I put up today was one of my videos, and it's that billionaire visualization. So yes, and like I said, I needed your energy today to shake up. No, really, and I appreciate you being your authentic self, and just bringing awareness to all these, these things around the world, with just everything. In this short segment, you were able to touch on a lot of things, and it's just amazing. And no, I look forward to uploading this segment, just listening to you. I can just say a couple of words and just sit back and be in school and just listen to your life, the school of life coming right through you, through your experiences. And I think you're an amazing person. I really do. And I know my opinion really does not matter, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
I like people that give it.
I'm giving it to you anyway, because I already know you. Whether I thought you were an amazing person or a rotten person, it wouldn't shake you not one bit. So
not really.
No.
Not after what I've just been through in the Colombian Andes Mountains. Honestly,
no,
Luke,
but,
seriously,
but
these indigenous healers.
I wouldn't connect or be drawn to a person that I thought was rotten. So obviously, I'm drawn to you because of who you are and your experiences and your views and what you think. Whether I agree with everything or not, I respect and I enjoy listening to everything. And you are a person that causes one to think. People that are open for that and not closed off and afraid, like you said. I'm not afraid, and I'm not afraid to highlight.
I love
I'm not afraid to highlight an extraordinary person such as yourself here on this platform. So I appreciate everything. And I know we can talk on and on, but I try to limit my show no more than an hour. But I want to know, before you go, if you want to, how do people find your books? And can you throw out a couple of titles of those? Because I want to.
We've got, if they go to my website, dawnbates.com.
Yes. Okay.
They can just go there and
look at all your books.
/books. All my books will be there.
Okay.
You've got you've got book collaborations on there that I've done, because one of the things I do is I work with people. So for example, if let's just say that you've got this idea that you want to run with, and you get 10 other thought leaders that you want to publish, that you're all passionate about something to do with social justice or to human rights or about a social movement, or you're like, you know what, it's game on time, we're putting an end to this. So I work with a lot of people. I mean, we've got 3 book collaborations coming out at the moment, putting menopause on the map. We've got Alive to Thrive. Alive to Thrive is about a group of women that failed suicide for one reason or another, led to that, and have gone on to thrive in life afterwards. Menopause on the Map is about highlighting menopause, but from a fun point of view, because a lot of us don't understand it. And we're women. So how the heck are men supposed to understand it? So this book is like, 10 women from around the world sharing their story. And, and it's a guide for women. And it's like, you know what, for everything from, nutrition to, we've got one lady like menopause. We've got one woman saying, fuck it in your 50s. You've got another one looking at it from a point of view of nutrition. But again, these are social movement books. These are books about human rights and social justice, because we're saying the medical industry is not doing us a service. You might want to talk about something about, we might want to get work on a book together about people actually honoring their abundance and actually invoicing and actually honoring and investing in themselves and making a movement out of it. But that's the thing, there's so many books on there. I mean, it's growing all the time, and I'm really excited. Like I said, I'm about to finish my book, Digital Nomad, being a digital nomad from the perspective of a single sailing mama in her 40s. And that's not your normal, I'm like, oh, I just want to keep writing it. It's such a great book.
Are you almost concluding that book? Or
I just added another chapter in my publishing manager. She's like, oh, will you stop adding chapters? I'm in love with this book. There's so much more to say. And but we're going to write a freebie, so there's going to be a perma free, but being a digital nomad should be coming out by the end of the year, hopefully, once I stop adding chapters. And
you're inspiring me, because look, I have still been lollygagging around with even writing my first book. I have so many different ideas, and you just inspired me to some kind of way, maybe write something modern day pirate, but it'll throw people off because they're going to think, okay, one way, but it's not what they're thinking.
But that's one of the reasons why people hire an author coach, right? Because what we do is we help you make sense of your writing. We help you make sense of your ideas, and we look at how you can create multiple income streams. We look at how you can create the author life for you. I want a private life. I'm looking to now enter in. I'm not looking for a partner. I'm manifesting a partner. I've been single and celibate for 4 years, and because for one reason or another, but I don't want to waste my time with a guy that's just not in it for the long run. If it's not a transcendental connection, then what's the point? But the thing is, it's like, I want a private life, and when I was on social media, everyone had access to me and I couldn't focus. And it was like everyone was looking at, is she with someone, or like, where is she now, or like, and I was like, you know what, my boys don't need their mum in the public space. Yes, I'll do these, and I'll do videos, and I've done TVs, but I still have my private life.
Your private life,
but with social media,
you don't have this device connected to you. Some people cannot stop doing this every second.
I'm going diving for 5 hours tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
For what?
I just have to share this with you. I have now dived. I'm so excited about this. I have now dived in the top 3 coral reefs in the world.
Wow.
Game on. I'm so excited.
So you put on the tank and everything?
Yeah.
And how far do you
go? My masters.
How far do you go down?
Tomorrow we'll probably only do about 18 meters.
Okay. What is that in feet?
I don't know. I don't do imperial.
Yeah, I know. I'm an imperial. I'm sorry. I'm a limited imperial.
What is 18 meters in feet? That is, look at us both Googling it. That's 59 foot.
Oh, that's pretty deep though. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's the length of most of the boats that I sail across around the world.
Wow. So are you going to catch anything or just observe?
Well, when we went diving on Sunday, it was really sad because there's so much dead coral here.
Wow.
And it was really sad. And what was really interesting is in Santa Marta, there was a university, like a marine biology department for the university here. But there's also a port here, massive shipping containers and everything, which, you know, this part of the world is massive on sex trafficking, gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and animal trafficking. And when I traveled down the Amazon River, I actually ended up in a place called Leticia and Tabatinga and Santa Rosa, which is a borderless town, lawless town. And it was really quite interesting because you mentioned earlier about how I just go with the flow. I just got on the boat and I just went. I had no idea which country I was going to end up in. I was going to go to Venezuela, but I wasn't allowed into Venezuela because I'd just spent 9 months in Brazil. So I couldn't go to Venezuela. So I got another boat and carried on. And then I was like, okay, I could go to Peru. But I went to the immigration and they stamped my visa. So I had no choice to go back into Brazil. So I had to get into either Peru or Colombia. And so we crossed the river so I woke up in the morning in Brazil. I crossed the river, went and had lunch in Peru, and went to the immigration there. They said, we'd let you in because you've got a British passport, but because you've been in Brazil for 9 months, we won't let you in. I went, where Colombia is then. And then I'm like, okay, please let it be Colombia. Please let them let me in because I really don't want to stay in this lawless town because that's a massive, massive area for trafficking. And it's really dangerous. And I'm just walking through the town with my headphones on, singing all my songs, a bit more Chiba, a bit of Groove Armada and all that jazz. And we go to the immigration in Colombia and they're like, yeah, no worries, stamp my passport, didn't like that. And I've just been traveling throughout the whole of South America. And we can continue this in episode 2, if you like.
Yes.
I just traveled through the whole of South America throughout this whole pandemic without a mask, without being sick, and without an injection. And I intend to keep traveling.
Exactly. Yep. I just went to the Caribbean. Yeah. No, I don't have an injection either or mask.
I'm not having it.
Yeah.
I like my uterus where it is. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm not choosing to do that either. So yeah. And I'm going to Panama in a month too. So yeah. No injection.
Say hi, lay the ground level, go San Blas.
Okay.
Set the scene for me for when I arrive in January.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to tell them to look out for you. I'm going to tell everybody, look, gather around.
Brace yourself. Now. Bates is on her way.
You're going to get shaken up. Bates is coming. I'm going to hold your picture up. When you see her, either run or come closer. One of the two. You got a choice. Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Dawn.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure
coming on today and sharing your amazing energy and your amazing just life and stories and opinions and just passions. It's so much you just cover.
You're very
and
welcome.
That's true. Your worldly traveling just experiences is just amazing. Like you said, university of the world and of the universe. And
absolutely.
That's beautiful. And following your own soul and bliss, and you're connected to your intuition. And that's just amazing. No one else's narrative, your own, no titles, no restrictions. Amazing.
One of the things I want to share with you is university, right? I break it down into universe. I thank you.
Wow. Okay. I thank you. There it is.
That's university.
Universe, I thank you. Wow. Yes, there you go. Thank you very much.
I'm an author. I play with words.
Wow, that's what you're supposed to do. The universe plays with us all the time.
Let's go shopping with her.
Yeah, let's do it. Yes. So thank you very much for bringing out my inner pirate. You're
welcome. I love a pirate.
I can see myself
and a Viking.
Yes. Wow. Just eating, drinking rum. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't drink. I'm the anti-sailor. I don't drink.
That's good.
But yes. Been
Yes.
great.
Yes, it's been great, and thank you everybody for watching. And like you said, we got to connect and do a part 2 because
Yes, we
you have just too much that you know, to contain in this small
1 hour
slot of time. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
You're so welcome. Thank you everybody for joining us.